So we're going to go ahead and get started. Brief voting session. First bill is House Bill 565.
House Bill 565 from Washington County Delegation is a statewide alcohol bill on Class 9 limited distilleries. These are small distilleries with a production cap of not more than 100,000 gallons per year. The amendments were, the original amendments were taken up by a subcommittee and approved. I have additional amendments that actually clarify a couple of additional sections of code that needed to be addressed for to allow a license holder to have more than one license. As amended, the bill would allow a Class 9 limited distillery license holder also to obtain a Class 8 limited liquor wholesaler's license. Under that license, a manufacturer may distribute up to 27,500 gallons of its own product per year.
On the amendments, all in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none on the bill itself.
Move the bill as amended.
Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none. Mr. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Delegate Harrison. Delegate Boafo. Delegate Howard. Delegate Charkoudian. Delegate Rose. Delegate Pruski. Delegate Fennell. Delegate Turner. Delegate Sample Hughes. Delegate Valderrama. Delegate Chi. Delegate Frazier Hidalgo. Delegate Adams. Delegate Arentz. Delegate Pippy. Delegate Jackson. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ampry. Delegate Weibel. Delegate Fisher is excused. Delegate Queen. Next bill is 910.
House Bill 910 from Delegate Frazier Hidalgo, Energy Storage Targets and Maryland Energy Storage Program establishment. It sets up a program in PSC, obviously, to have particular targets that are set for energy storage in the state. The amendments, number one, is technical. Number two, provides particular kinds of storage that will be included, including thermal storage, electrochemical, virtual power plants, and hydrogen-based storage, and makes technical correction to capacity measured in megawatts rather than megawatt hours. Also will allow that investor-owned electric utilities may install or contract for storage devices or contract for credits under a storage product under the existing pilot program.
Is there any requirement that any company starts creating storage, or is this just to?
These are targets so that they have to get
right,
going.
There's no mandate, correct?
Correct. Okay.
Move the amendments.
On the amendments, all in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none on the bill as amended.
Move the bill as amended.
Any discussion?
My big concern on this would be battery. We have a lot of problems. We had a bill in this year about battery, putting out the fires and what have you on the batteries. Mm-hmm. And is that a concern? Was that thought of in this bill? I'm not saying I don't want to do it. It's just that that was a major concern. The smoke and all the other things that causes, how the firefighters are in danger. You know, you can run right down the line. Is that part of this? Are we considering anything to amend this to make something plausible that we have the resources to put it out if we do it?
Good.
Yeah, so this bill, notwithstanding that, was really designed, there's currently a pilot project that's been in the pilot program for years now, and it's really designed to just kind of move the pilot to something more permanent. It also doesn't specifically, it's agnostic on what the storage is, so it's not just batteries. But it doesn't address your specific issue. I do know that I did some research when Delegate Jacobs' bill came in, and there's a lot of things that we have to research on that particular piece.
Okay, I would rather see that addressed before we do something like that. Thank you. Thank you.
On the bill as amended, was it seconded? And properly seconded, Delegate Crosby. Aye. Delegate Harrison. Delegate Boafo. Delegate Howard. Charkoudian. Delegate Rose. Delegate Pruski. Yes. Delegate Fennell. Yes. Delegate Turner. Yes. Delegate Sample Hughes. Delegate Valderrama. Delegate Chi. Aye. Delegate Frazier Hidalgo. Aye. Delegate Adams. Delegate Arentz. Delegate Pippy. Delegate Jackson. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ampry. Delegate Weibel. Delegate Fisher is excused. Delegate Queen. Bill passes. Next bill, please.
Okay. Sure this thing works. House Bill 1214 we dealt with the other day. That's coming back. Delegate Stein's marketing bill concerning residential retail electricity, green power. There are amendments in your packet, if we ever had a packet, that essentially take out the specific references to solar, wind, and such, and simply requires a disclosure that if you're in a contract that claims to be green energy with certain examples, that you are actually buying RECs rather than having an actual supply contract from one of those generators.
Move the amendments.
On the amendments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none.
Move the bill as amended.
Any discussion on the bill? Steve?
Briefly, you know, I keep saying that there's an article in Maryland Matters had an article about the PJM and what we're doing with it. It's in complete disarray. This bill, as I understand it, is going to take us and say that so-and-so, if we're buying what we call a REC or clean energy from somebody else on the PJM, we're going to start segmenting that. We don't know what's clean. We don't know what's not clean. And I just think we're adding more dollars to the ratepayers by sitting down and not putting restrictions on what we are going to call a clean energy and turning it into this REC business we try to do.
I guess I would, question would be, because the goal of the bill was that you don't sell people green energy. If that, the testimony was about how people were paying extra for what they thought was wind energy or solar energy, and it really wasn't, it was RECs. Meaning that letting the people who purchase this energy know exactly what they're getting, that they're not buying there's green energy as such. That was the goal of the bill as amended.
That's the goal of what we try to do regardless, but we're not doing it. We'd have no way of identifying if this bill's working or not going to work.
No, this bill is just to kind of lay that out, that because there's no way of identifying, that since they're not contracted with the solar company, they don't get to say they're selling green energy. It's exactly what you're talking about, because we don't know. They're not, it's not allowing them to say, look, this is wind energy that you're buying, because although they're possibly buying RECs that have having to do with wind energy, this step, that we don't want them to keep sidestepping that and advertising to the public that it's green energy.
But this is where I think it's a shell game, because a REC is supposed to be in lieu of clean energy, or what, we're buying something because we can't provide it.
Correct.
We're paying that for it. This is sitting down saying that these people that actually go out and do these RECs, the intent of the REC was to sit down and bypass the clean energy, quote unquote, to pick up what we think is clean energy from somebody else, right?
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I think we're just increasing, we're limiting the scope of something we're not sure of and putting a criteria on something we are sure of.
So you think it's fine for people to be told that they're buying green energy and advertise,
I
hey,
think
and
that's what
paying
we're doing
extra,
now, Chair.
But that's literally what the testimony was, that these people are paying extra money because they were told they're buying solar energy when in fact they weren't. They were buying RECs. We were trying to clean that up.
Okay, so when we do that, what's going to be the end result? We sit down and we eliminate what we've been told in the past was a clean energy REC, if you will.
No, we're not eliminating any of that. That's not what the bill does. Go ahead, Mr. Vice Chair.
It's just simply a disclosure bill, or it's really a
It literally
consumer,
is.
it's a consumer protection bill, right? So like, instead of saying you're getting 100% wind, you have to tell them you're getting 100% wind in RECs.
So you're just not selling them.
Yeah.
There are people out there that are willing to pay extra
Correct.
for green energy. We don't want them being tricked when they're not actually buying wind energy. That's literally all this does. It literally is just about a consumer protection. So they're not misled.
Okay, what will this do to the rates?
Nothing.
You think the rates will still be the same?
Yes.
I don't even know how they could go up under this logic.
Nothing is going to be changed except for the disclosure in
Go
either the
ahead.
mailer or the.
And
Madam Mr. Chair, thank you. This is only for people who are choosing to buy from suppliers. So if you stay with the SOS price, stay with SOS, with your utility, then this bill doesn't touch you at all. If you get a mailer that says, do you want to pay more extra different to get 100% clean energy, then this would touch you. So it's not touching rates at all unless people choose to buy this. Now they know what they're paying more for.
right, and they know that if they're paying more, specifically what they're getting, versus before they're paying more, and it was for solar energy, but that's not really just for they're paying for RECs.
All right, I don't think I understand, but I'll be all right.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
Delegate Charkoudian, thank you. No, thank you as always. Delegate Howard.
You wanted to say Adams, didn't you?
I did, sorry. So I usually safely glance over here, because once I see the Adams, I know who it's not, sorry.
Right. Through the lens of the bipartification of the. Yeah. Hey, Bob, there was a lot of unfavorable testimony. Did the amendments address any of that?
I would say to the extent that it doesn't change RPS, yes, probably overall.
Yeah, but it doesn't change your RPS, which some of the opposition was about. It does force people to properly advertise. And so there are businesses that may, in fact, themselves think they're losing money because they're holding themselves out to basically be selling wind or solar energy, and that's not exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I get it. I just, I sort of to my friend from the Eastern Shore's point, I mean, we're either in a climate crisis or we're not. And, these are slings and arrows that we need to bring to bear to fight this, or we're not. And, I want people to buy clean energy, and whether we're bifurcating out that it's a rec from clean energy from Washington State or a rec from clean energy from the PGM grid, to me is irrelevant. So I'll be voting against the bill. Thank you.
Bob?
Simply noting that we're talking about our RECs, they have to be generated either within PJM or from a control area that adjoins PJM if the electricity is actually delivered into the state.
So it would never be Washington State.
I mean, the point of the bill, my understanding is that it's because the actual electrons that you are getting are going to come from the nearest power plant. There are no green painted electrons. So a REC is actually a contract creation, and it's letting people know that it's a contract creation, not that this particular electron takes a special path to your house.
No, I get it. I just,
Delegate Weibel?
And so the bill was introduced, I understood the RECs had to be purchased from a tier 1 source. Is that still in there, or did the amendments take that out?
Amendments took those out.
They're all scratched. That's all scratched out.
It's
We
all gone?
really just made this a consumer protection bill.
All right.
Literally. I'm sorry you guys are opposed. Literally thought this was a transparency bill if ever there was one. Any more discussion? Seeing none, has the bill been seconded? Has been favorable with amendments properly seconded. Delegate Crosby.
Aye.
Delegate Harrison. Delegate Boafo. Delegate Howard. Delegate Charkoudian. Delegate Rose. Delegate Pruski. Delegate Fennell. Delegate Turner. Delegate Sample Hughes. Delegate Valderrama. Delegate Chi. Delegate Fraser Hidalgo. Delegate Adams. Delegate Aarons. Delegate Pippi. Delegate Jackson. Delegate Johnson. Delegate Rogers. Delegate Ampry. Delegate Weibel.
Abstain. Okay.
There we go. Okay, Delegate Fisher is excused. Delegate Queen. I believe that concludes our voting session.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we're going to have any other votes between now and the end of crossover. So just be patient. Again, if we do, we'll step outside at times and vote in the old chamber if we need to. It won't be this complicated. It won't be online. So we'll move forward as we need to. Are there any questions? Okay, guys, you got about a half hour before we have to be back on the floor. Please be on time. Thank you, guys.